Hello, I'm Mara. Today I show you how to sew my Lani top. This time I use a cotton fabric. It's very light. But last time I used this crinkle viscose linen fabric, and this works very well. I really like it, but I think also in the cotton fabric it will look very cute. Let's go. So now we can start here with the front tie. I sew them together. So we have here the nice side and also here the nice side, and then I place it here nice sides together, and then I sew here from this point to this, and then I do this with all of them. So and then I open it here like this, so we have here the nice side on top, and then I do the next one. Whoops. So here's the nice side, and then I do the next. So, and then we can iron here the seam open, and then we place it nice sides together, and so here in the middle, or you can decide how small the front tie should be, but here in the middle I think it's good, and So and then we can cut the bias tape, and we need 6 of them, and each around 40 centimeter. And then we can also maybe cut the seam allowance here a little bit. So, and then I fold it here on half, nice sides together, and we can sew here and here around 5 millimeters from the fold here, and I do this with all of them, and then we can turn it with the loop turner. So, and for the straps you can also here fold it on half, and then you can decide how wide the strap should be. You can make a very small one or around 1.5 centimeter. I do it 1.5, and then I sew here at around 5 millimeters, and yeah, and then we can turn it with the loop turner. And then we can cut the seam allowance here a little bit. And then we can turn it with the loop turner. And I do this with all of them, and also with the 2 straps. So, and then we can iron the straps. I iron it like this, that the seam is here on one side. So. And then we can also iron the front ties a little bit. Now we can cut the elastic tape. We need 3 of them. One here over the bust, and I leave it relaxed, not too stretched. So, and then I cut the first, and then I sign it here with number 1. And the second is here below the bust. Here. And the last one is also here, so I do it the same length. So, and now we can start with the top. We have here the front and also here, and I fold the front 5 millimeters, and then I iron it, and then I do it 5 millimeters again, and then we can sew here close to the edge, and I do this on both front sides. So, and then we can fold here the upper edge 1 centimeter, and then once again, and so also here close to the edge, and we have here a tunnel for the elastic tape, and we can also fold the hem here 1 centimeter and once again, and also sew here close to the edge. now we can draw the lines for the elastic tape. I do it with a erasable pen, but you can also do it with chalk. I do it like 8.5 centimeters from the bottom, the first line. So, and then from this line 6 centimeter. And then we can fold the top here on half. So, and then we make here a small line on both heights, and then we can fold it here on the quarter and do a small line here, and also on the other side. So, and then we do the same on the elastic tape. So we have here marked our 4 quarters. So we have here our 3 elastic tapes. This is number 1, this is for the tunnel later. And then I mark here the quarters on both elastic tapes. So here the half. So, and the same here, and then we can start sewing. I start here and we sew with the normal stitch, and while sewing I stretch it to the next quarter. So this quarter to this, and then we sew it stretched with normal straight stitch, and yeah, then I do this here again, always stretch it to the next quarter, and I do this here on both lines, and yeah, I start here below the seam, and first I do a few front and back stitches. And then I stretch it. So, and then we have our last elastic tape, number 1. For the tunnel here, I sew it to one of the front ties, just here on one side. I do it here like this with a few stitches. So, and also on the other side. And then I pull it through the tunnel. I do it with the loop turner, but you can also do it with a normal safety pin. And then when we see here the elastic, I pull it a little bit back again, and then when you cannot see it from the outside, I make a few stitches here to secure it. And then we can secure it here on the other side. Maybe you can try it on, and if it's if the elastic is here too long, you can shorten it a little bit, but mine is okay, so I pull it a little bit more to the inside, and then I sew again here in the same seam. And then we can sew on the front ties. I sew it here on the left side in the same seam, and then I cut the seam allowance here a little bit, and then I fold it here like this to the outside and sew here again. And now we can sew on the straps. Here I fold the top in half. And then we have here the center back. And I measure around 11 centimeters from the center back and make a small line here. Also on the other side. So, and then we can sew on here the strap. I do it the same way as the front ties. I first sew it here a few stitches, then I cut the rest, and then I fold it like this, and then I sew here again. And I do this only with both back sides, and then we can try it on, and then we can adjust the strap a little bit. And then we can adjust the strap here a little bit and pin it to the front, and I do the same here. And then we can sew it the same way as the back. And yeah, then we can iron it, and then we're done. So now we make here a line on the place where we sew later, and then we fold it like this, so the line is here on the seam. So, and then we sew here and make sure the strap is not twisted. And then we can cut it here and fold it here to the side, and then we sew here again. So then we can iron it, or you can leave it like this, but I like it if it's more flat, so I iron it. So I iron it like this.